How's it going, everyone? Today, I'd like to do a recap of the trades that we took on Monday, November 17th. So, to begin with, it's not in this screenshot, but at first, we took a long. So, the long was right at the open over here. I saw a huge impulse coming in on the lower time frames. So, going on the minute, we had continuation down and then just immediately reverse continued up. This was in profit a good amount. However, I did not sell these contracts quick enough and price came back down to here. And I realized we are probably going to be dipping for the rest of the day. It felt like a bearish rejection of this downtrend. And so I cut the contract short. I could have sold it up here again and probably not had a 22% loss on it. But hindsight is 2020. I'm not really that upset about it. Main reason I'm not upset is because we had a absolute banger trade on these 666Ps. So I bought my first batch over here at around literally 9:43 a.m. I was noticing we're getting rejected off the EMAs, rejected off this up a downtrend. We have extra resistance up here with this horizontal SR level at former all-time highs, this downtrend over here with this blue SR zone, and the uptrend now acting as resistance. Oops, let's just move this. So you can see this uptrend is now acting as resistance. So let's begin. Um, I took a short position over here. It was decently profitable down to here. My main target, however, after we had been rejecting out this level, was to see it come all the way down to here. So that's what I was really aiming for and held with conviction. Now, position came back up to here. As you can see, I bought these at first for $55 a contract. I averaged down later on once it came back down for a loss to bring the new position or new average up to $47 a contract. And that was again at 10 a.m. right over here, 11 a.m. For an hour delayed. So, um, as that was happening, oh, I'm sorry, this belongs here. Yeah, right here. So we had averaged down over these two 15-minute candles over the next 30 minutes. What ensued afterwards was just pretty much textbook. So we have resistance here, higher resistance above. We are getting beaten down by the EMAs. We are testing them constantly on the 1 hour and failing like spectacularly every time. Can't even get close to getting an hourly close above the 1 hour. And all this combined gave me three confluences to be bearish. So again, we're below the support resistance level, below this uptrend, below the EMAs, and we have huge amounts of liquidity resting just below here, as well as an SR level that has yet to be really swept and taken out these lows over here. So we entered shorts. These puts went bananas. So I ended up cutting my runner at 500%, giving me an average of about 220% gains for the entire trade. These contracts, however, went up over 15x. So each contract ended up the peak value of 666Ps down here uh, was over $380 a contract. So these went up from $47 a contract, and I bought them much cheaper later on to average down to 380. That is uh damn near a 10x even for the shittiest fill that we got. So it was an amazing trade. Ended the small account up 37%. I don't trade on the large account, or day trade on the large account rather. So overall, really, really successful day. I'd like to give a little sneak peek in addition to the recap as to what I think is going to happen. bookmark this, come back with predictions. Make fun of me if SPX reaches all-time highs today after taking out these lows and getting everyone panicked. But I think we continue lower. We could have another rejection up to here at 670 to even 673, and then go down further. I think with Nvidia earnings coming out tomorrow after market close, the market is going to be much more subdued in its volatility. And in the meantime, it's just going to be continuing to create that bearish structure. So the reason, again, why I'm feeling more bearish here in this segment of the market structure than we were like back here, let's say, is because we are now clearly forming what is bear structure. So these lower highs, lower lows, we're closing below the uptrend for the first time since this October 10th dump. And that was really a news liquidation event. So it's hard to compare it to something like this where it's just happening due to technicals. There's not any news coming out. Everything's kind of baked in and the market's just doing its own thing and working along with everything that it already knows. This was different. So seeing these two consecutive breakdowns into here, failing to break back in, getting rejected off EMA, whether it's the EMAs, whether it's the uptrend, whether it's even this small downtrend, I think we go lower, to be quite honest. So I had to inform the group to cut all existing swing longs. We have some degree of short exposure. It's also a very tricky time because, like I said, I'm still expecting a lot of fuckery to go around here, especially going into NVIDIA earnings. We could still see some tests to try to reclaim this, but given Bitcoin's now at like below $90,000, dipped there for a few moments earlier, the economy just being terrible, the consumer being squeezed, um, you know, all these different macro trends and indications just point to the top being in for now at least, and some downside is really needed. By the end of the year, we could have some major announcements in terms of providing liquidity to the market. However, until that happens, I'm pretty certain that the direction that we're going to go for is just lower and lower and lower. So do position for that. Again, game plan for today. We're going to have another video coming out pretty soon. But that does kind of give you an insight. I'm just basically looking at the same exact levels, looking at the reactions going into them, looking at these moving averages. The 1 hour right now is holding this downtrend very nice. So that 1 hour and the 15-minute are what I'm really looking at mostly. And just continuing on from there. That being said, thank you very much for watching. And if you'd like to also get some banger SPX plays, feel free to join the group. Thank you.